Hi, Laurent, David.
Hi, how you doing?
Hi. For the moment,
Good.
it's just the two of us.
Ah, nice. Feel good chat.
Yeah, we had quite a few people in the last weeks, but only 4 registrants this week. So
I'm the only one
uh
registered this week?
what?
I'm the only one who registered this
No,
week?
we had 4.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. So I'll give them a few more minutes, but I knew beforehand that out of 4,
Yeah,
there is
maybe.
always a good chance.
Yeah.
We
And
had
so
we had
while we are
about 10
waiting,
each time last week.
cool. Great, 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 great. Let me let me make a coffee and
Yeah,
be back.
that's good.
Okay.
All right. Hi, Heidi. Ik weet niet precies wie we dan ja, momenteel in de eh, webinar nog hebben. We zijn momenteel met een aantal aanwezig, dus ik stel voor dat we er stilaan aan beginnen. Ik kan nog eens snel even pollen, even checken in welke taal goed oké. Ik wil zeggen, even checken of het oké is dat we in het Engels van start gaan. Voor Laurent David, die al aanwezig was, is dat wel het beste. Is English okay for you as well? Let me look at chat. Okay, perfect. Okay. I know Laurent David, LD needed one more minute. So, okay. I'm going to allow camera and allow mic for everyone so that you can also turn on your camera and say something if you prefer. There's not too many of us this week. It's been I think it's the big holiday week for most people. So here we go. I'll start sharing my screen. Also put this one in English for now. Okay. Maybe just before we go any further, wanted to check how advanced your knowledge of openthebox is. Depending on that, I can kind of tailor how we're going to go through the product and what we'll be looking at. So sometimes we have a mix of existing customers and new trial users and so forth in here. So I wanted to look how many of you really wanted to have more of a look at the more advanced features or more of the basic stuff. You can also turn on your camera or turn on your mic and just tell me or let me know in the chat if you prefer. Okay. Okay, I will in any case start with the basic stuff of openthebox and let me know if there's anything else you want to definitely discuss today. Let's first have a look at the really core features of openthebox, where we have a look at one single company. So this is our parent company, Mediafin, and we're going to look at what we find on the profile page. Let me again switch back to English. All right. So in this case, yeah, it's taken off the the French website, but we still interpret it in English. for you when we actually start using the data. Now, in any case, you find the typical information about the company here, the first stuff you'll start looking for, but you can already get a very easy overview of how a company is doing. So you can see here that Mediafin has a financial health score of 10. It's got 5.7 million in equity. It's got an operating income of 86 million and 294 employees and a profit of 7.9 million. Now, what does this section mean? This is about the administrators. So we're starting to dive deeper into the real strengths of OpenBox here, where you have a look at who is administrating Mediafin, and you can really start to look even at how they have arranged this administratorship. So in case of our CEO, Peter Kwagebeur here, you can see that he is administering Mediafin through his own company, Wildcard Concepts. Right, and then you can also see that Mediafin is an administrator of Cross Medial Consortium. Then, aside from administrators, so this is the people that hold a specific function at Mediafin, and this is an officially published function. Then we can start diving deeper into the shareholding structures, and those include the ones above Mediafin, so who participates in Mediafin, but then also what are the participations that Mediafin has in other companies. And you'll see us here, Pulsar IT, which is 90% owned by Mediafin. All right. Then the financials. Again, you'll see a lot of tabs up here, but basically the most important things, or if you only have time for a glance, then you'll find the most important things here, all on the profile page. So what does that mean? For instance, here we also even benchmark how all of these financial measures compare to other companies in the same sector. So in terms of equity, for instance, you'll see how Mediafin compares to other companies, but also how this year's result compares to last year's, and so forth. So you can see what happened in the last couple of years. All right. Same for operating income, gain, loss, EBITDA, and even the number of employees. Then you can also see that split out again in different chart. And we have our financial health indicator here, which is an official measure. It's not something that we came up with. It's not arbitrary. This is the official way to judge a company's financial health. And we've just visualized it clearly here. Then we have our newest power feature here, which is news articles. So has this company recently been mentioned in the news? Now, for starters, we've included articles from the TED. So if a company is mentioned in the TED, then we'll bring that article in here, and you'll see the relations, everything that's been mentioned in this article. Now, we've started with the TED now because it's by far the most important business news in Belgium, but we're looking into further sources to make this feature even richer with information. All right, so imagine you have a meeting coming up, or you want to judge how what a company's reputation is like. If they have some bad press here, then you're immediately up to speed. But if they've had good news recently, they had a PR campaign, then you also have something to mention in your next meeting. All right, so that's important new feature. And then we have the publications. I personally like this. It's a bit nerdy, maybe. You can find a lot of stuff in here from the official publications that a company has, but you can also open it and see actually how Open the Box works. So this is how our AI, our machine learning, will detect names and deduplicate them. It will detect company names. It will detect all this information here, and you can immediately see very clearly, very transparently, how OpenTheBox reaches the conclusions that it does. All right. If anything's unclear or you want to dive a little deeper into any of these things, let me know. But in the meantime, I'll go over to the spider web. The spider web is our, I think, most important feature. It's our most discussed feature. It's the one that our power users like the most. What you see here immediately is all the connections around Mediafin. You can even see which companies are based on the same address. So let's say we filter a lot of things out. In our case, there's nothing left. But this is an important feature. Say you're trying to find out more about the company in case of accounting, or you have any kind of compliance obligations. Then through this feature, you can find out which hidden participations sometimes take place on the same address. Say, for instance, your client's wife has a business on the same address. That can indicate that they actually have a second business together and they've split it up that way, or they have separate businesses, but you need to keep that in mind for wealth planning, for accounting, for all of those things, right? You can't have both businesses paid, both people the same amount of rent or the full amount of rent, for instance, to optimize for taxation. Those are all important details. Now, what is another power feature of this? Another powerful part of this feature is, for instance, when you click through and you get to see all of the other companies and people that Rossel and company is connected to. Again, let's reset that and now have a look, for instance, at here, Rularta. You will again see a lot of stuff here happening. Reset. Let's say you want to look at Vlaamse News Media, and suddenly you'll see that also DPG Media and Media House, some of the biggest media companies in Belgium, are also indirectly affiliated with Mediafin. All right, so those are all important things to know. Say, for instance, that you have a client list or you have a client and you want to look at which other connections you might be able to sell into through his network, through their business network, then this is a very powerful way to find out. Right? Then mandates again, so some more in-depth view here at who is administering this company. Then which mandates do they carry for other administering other companies? Then the participations again, so who are the shareholders of the company? What are they participating in here? What are the numbers of the companies they're administrating? You can immediately tell that Pulsar IT is a young startup, still losing money and growing. You can look at the parent companies because shareholders don't automatically equal parent companies. In this case, they do, but they are not always the same. So you can have more shareholders than parent companies, for instance, or the other way around. And in this case, there are no subsidiaries. We'll see in a bit why, because we can see the companies that have been absorbed by Mediafin. All right. Again, also here, show historic information. You can look at the companies that used to be on the same address, can also be very useful. Financial overview, how are they doing recently? What are their financial ratios? This you can even click open and look at the evolution. You can look at the annual accounts, auditors as well. You can see here who exactly is the auditor for Mediafin. You can look at all of the tax reductions that have been received over the years. All right. Same for your social balance here. You can look at how many employees have been in the company and so forth. You can dive deeper into news and Yeah, that's some of the key stuff. Again, I think we've covered most of this already. Only on the first page, less articles are mentioned. So here you find every article that we can detect. Right, publications also again here. So mentions of persons and companies are only available for publications in Dutch, but French will follow later. All right, then activities. We have our headquarters activities. We have the establishments here. So where is Mediafin established? There are also past establishments. You can look at the history, so everything that has happened in the past. For instance, this company has absorbed. And then memberships. This already gets us to one of the more advanced features of OpenTheBox. You can see here that we can actually build lists, and then they will show up in there. All right, let me show you those advanced features. So first of all, when we started this this webinar, I started out with Mediafin immediately, but you can also create a search for multiple companies at once instead of just checking out one company. Let's say we want to look for companies that do something with drones, for instance. Then what you'll find is actually the classical way of searching for that. You know, if I type drones here, the codes, the tax codes, the VAT codes that are typically used for filtering companies are not sufficient there because very often they don't cover what a company actually does. So that's why I've created activities. It's still in a beta version, but it's getting quite advanced. So let's say we want to describe their activity. We're just going to search for drones. And now we've got 10,000 companies. We've got an accuracy score here. So what does that mean? Because of our machine learning, not all results can correspond automatically and equally to the keyword that you've chosen or the term that you've chosen. So we've added this score so that you can choose how far you want to go, if how loosely related it should be to drones. So let's say, for instance, we want to keep it to 80%, and then you'll see that most of this is still related to drones. You'll also see the score go down as we go. Now let's say we want some more parameters to add in here. So for instance, also know that you can always add something custom, but you can also use the sliders here. So for instance, let's say we want them to have a gross operating margin of at least 100K. We've got 51 companies now, and we want them to have at least 5 employees. Okay, now we've got 23 companies that fit our criteria. This, for instance, would be for a new thing that we're selling, or say that we've discovered that we can actually help drone companies, and these are our most ideal companies we think to start working with. Then we've now got our list of companies to start reaching out to. Now, there are 3 things that we can do with this list. We can export it, we can save these companies, or we can save this search. When we save this search, we can say drones over 100K and 5M, right? When we create this, we're now monitoring these criteria. And whenever a new company fits these criteria, we will be updated. Whenever one of our companies no longer fits these criteria, we'll also be updated. Okay. Now, if we want to save exactly this list of companies, then I can again do the same thing. Drones over 100K, 5M. Now what we've got is, if we look at this, we're now going to have wait. Now we're going to have a list of exactly these companies, and now we can do a lot more with that. So we can again receive notifications, but now the notifications will be more about the companies. So no longer about based on the criteria, but based on these exact companies. And what will happen is if something, if they publish an update, if they have any kind of publication coming up, we will process it immediately on the same day, analyze it and present it in the application, and you will receive a notification, and you can pick whether it happens daily, weekly, or monthly. You can save that, and then you can, again, if you want, you can look at the spider web. This will probably take quite a long time to load. That's normal. It's just quite a lot of data to crunch for a little bit here for OpenTheBox. And you can see, of course, when we have this many companies, it doesn't necessarily provide a lot of clarity. But if it's a smaller list, then obviously it will. Then we have some cool features here in the recommendations, where we can help you find more companies within the network of these companies that you're looking for. But we can also hack this a little bit and say, we just want to find the administrators of these companies, usually the people really in charge. And then we can say save. Now I can say recommended these similar entities. And now I've got a list of the people behind these companies that I can reach out directly. So now I can go to LinkedIn and start adding them and start my entire campaign, my outbound campaign, really on a very personal level. And I will always be able to see everything I need to know about their companies. All right. Was that clear for everyone? Anything you would like to add or like to see in OpenBox?
Hello. Hello, Yola.
Hey,
Really, really impressive. For my case, can you know a little bit what we are doing?
yes, yeah.
Pretty well even. How would that work for us?
Well, I think
Hey.
for your case, it kind of depends on the size of companies
Mhm,
that you're looking for, right? So I think the first part is your ICP, but I know that one area, for instance, that you're looking into would be service companies, right?
mm, yes.
So what I would do, for instance, is let's first use one that I know.
Yeah.
Let's say, for instance, we are looking at Uptrust.
Mhm,
Okay. Then in your case, I would immediately want to look at this part, right? So immediately you can see that this is a group, and where if you kind of isolate this out, you see that a lot of things tie back here
mhm,
and a lot of things here. So you can see that actually there are several agencies connected here. That's what I would like to find out. Now you can also actually say, for instance, okay, what are, for instance, the activities that they have in common here. So, Conseil pour les affaires, right? Let's say for that, or maybe even this joint committee could be interesting to do a search for. Let's say here. Okay, all right, let's say here, joint committee 200. Let's do a search for that. Okay, now let's say here activities, marketing, Marketing agency 51. Okay, maybe then the joint committee is a bit too narrow, so I'm going to remove it once again. Okay, so now we've already, I mean, these are the obvious ones. But what you could look at then is, say we save these companies. Okay, now got marketing agencies. Okay, and now show spider rip. We could look at the ones. Are there any ones that have more connections than others? For instance, I would start prioritizing those.
Mm.
You see what I mean? Do you think this would already help you?
When you say prioritize those, is really that whole spectrum, or
Well,
or I go to a kind of a constellation where there are the biggest number of people?
yeah, I think the biggest number of people would be one thing, but usually what you can look at
The score.
maybe just one step back. I think we can dive deeper one-on-one
Yeah,
maybe
yeah.
sometime. But what you can do is you can filter, for instance, for number of employees or their financial results. And then you can start looking at the ones that have more connections, because it's good to have one sale, but the more you can sell into what is actually a group will help you even more. Because then every sale can turn into an upsell, especially. And I think in the service industry nowadays, it's much more likely to because it's consolidating so much. You're much more likely to have groups than a real enterprise.
Mm.
All right.
Okay.
Okay.
Cool. Cool. Yeah, I'm looking forward to maybe a small one-on-one session.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
Cool.
Okay.
Thank you very
Thanks.
much.
No, thank you. All right. Okay. I think that's probably it then for today. If there are no further questions, I'll wish everyone a good Wednesday and see you later.
Thank you. Bye bye.
Bye.